Okay, welcome back, guys. Now we understand how the whole thing is going to work. So now let's go into detail, and we'll link the first person, try to compute the tax for the first person, and once we are done, we'll just copy the first person and replicate it down. Okay, so this will be the first person, so let's just give it 1. And now we are going to look for the staff ID, the name, the department, the thing, and all this basic information from the employee sheet. If you look at our employee sheet, we have all this. So we are going to use a formula to actually get all this relevant information. So first, we can just say equals, then we go to our employee list and pick the first person. Okay, so we know this is the first person. You can close it a bit. Now the next thing, once you did this, the next thing we do is we can use an inbuilt function called VLOOKUP. So you just type VLOOKUP. When you start typing your VLOOKUP, it will pop up. Just click on your tab key on your left hand corner. Okay, you click on your tab key, it will select the function for you. Now the next thing you do is you click on the ID in question and you follow the argument. Now the first argument is saying lookup value. Okay, so we first of all we are telling Excel, go through a table and look through the table. If the table has this particular ID, look for the name of that person that bears this ID. Okay, so we've picked this, we bring comma 30. Okay, so we bring our comma and then we look for the table that we can actually get the name from. We know it is employee, so we pick our employees and then we pick from here up to the end. Now the question is, what are you interested in? You are interested in the name of the person, right? And so counting from the column, you can see the ID is in column 1, the name is in column 2, the salary is in column 3, and so on. We are interested in the name, which is in column 3. So first of all, select the entire table, highlight the first person, the serial number up to the end like I have, press on your control and your shift, and now use the down arrow, keep pressing till it takes you to the end of the table. Okay, like this. Now I have defined this table as staff, right? So you see that it picks the name staff, but if you have not defined a table, you have to press F4, the functional key F4, to make your table constant. Okay, however, if you are not able to get that, I'll show you how to define a table so that you can also define it. I have already defined this table, so you see when I pick the whole table, it is calling the table staff. Okay, so after this you bring comma, but remember, if you have not defined your table, you won't see staff. You see a long list of items with some apostrophes here and there. All you need to do is you press on your functional key F4. It will bring this $sign indicating that the table is constant. Okay, now that you've done this, you ask yourself, what are you interested in? You are interested in names. Names can be found in column 2. This is the ID, which is in column A, which is 1. The name is in column 2, so you put number 2 here and close your parentheses or your bracket. Okay, so we were in the payroll sheet, we picked it, we picked the serial number that was there, which is in B6. Then we came to our employee list, which I have defined it as staff, but you will have to select from here up to the end and then press F4 to make it constant. Because we are all using the same template, if you select the whole table well, as I have done, you see that it will give you staff. After the staff, you bring comma. We are interested in names, so name can be found in column. Names can be found in column 2, so you bring 2 and you close your parentheses. Now that we have been able to do this, we enter and you see that it brings the first person. Now should we change this code? Okay, if we change this code to a different person, you see that the name will change. Now let's try it and see. We have linked it to cell 1. If we should link it to say equals, then we go to employee list and we pick this serial number. You can see that the name has changed. Okay, so that is the beauty, but I want us to do it uniquely and uniformly, so we pick the first person. Okay, so you see it changes. So that's the power of VLOOKUP. Now for us to get used to the VLOOKUP, let's try the same approach. This time around we are interested in department, so we just go to equals, we do a VLOOKUP, click on your tab key to select the function, or just double click when it pops up. Now you want to look for this ID, so select the ID, bring your comma. We are supposed to go and look for the table that has this information, and we know it is the employee list, which we have defined as what? Staff. So I can just type staff over here and double click on staff and bring my comma and ask myself, department is in which column? I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Department is in column 4, so I type 4 and hit enter, and it brings the department for this person. Okay, we'll do the same for this and for that. We can actually alter this formula so that we can drag it across and it will give us all this, but I want us to understand how it works step by step. So let's try and link the 10 as well. We do a VLOOKUP. You can double click here, click on the value that we're trying to look out for. Sorry, let's try again. Equals VLOOKUP. We want this, so we bring our comma. We know we will find this information in the employee list. In the employee list, we have defined it as what? Staff. So just type staff on your key, on your keyboard. When the staff comes, double click on the staff here and you bring your comma. If you are not getting this, don't worry yourself. Just go to employee list and do the long process. Select like this. Put your hand on the control and the shift, and whilst your hand is on the control and the shift, press the down arrow key. Keep pressing till it gets to the end of the table like this. Because you have not defined, you press F4 to make it constant, but as we are all using the same template, we will just leave it, because if you look at the formula bar, it tells us staff. It means we have defined it. Okay, like I said, I'll show you how to define a table or a cell. Now we know we will find it in the 10. We'll find it in column 6 or so. Now you can see it is difficult for us to know the column number. That's why in the other sheet we have actually numbered the columns, so it will be easy for us to identify. So we know this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is 6. Okay, so this explains why the other columns have been labeled. If you look at this column, is 4. This is 5, 6. That's the reason why we did that. Okay, now let's try again. And know by now, doing it for about 4 times, you are used to the VLOOKUP formula. We'll be using it a lot throughout this system, and then the other one as well. So try and understand how it works. What do you want Excel to look for? We are saying Excel, we want the person that is using this ID, we want that person's SSNIT number, and we know this table that contains the SSNIT number is employees. We have defined it as staff, so just type staff and pick by double clicking on it. Once it selects, you bring your comma. Then the question is, which column has the staff? So I advise you just clear this, go to the employee list, and once you are here, like the class 1 approach, select, hold down, press the down arrow till you get to the end. Okay, so you see it still brings us the staff, telling you that this table is defined. Okay, now you bring your comma. Now we are interested in SSNIT number. We know SSNIT number is here, which is 1 2 3 4 5. So we bring 5. Now let's keep this in mind. The bank numbers, okay, or account numbers, is the last one, which is the 7th item. So let's keep that in mind, so we don't come back again. So we try again. Then look up, we pick this, and we know the table that, or the chart, or the sheet that has this, we've defined it as staff. So just type staff, or if you like use the class 1 approach, just go to employee list and select the whole thing, press F4 to make it constant. That's if you didn't define. Then we know it is in the last column, which is 7. So we now have this information. Very simple. Okay, now should we highlight it like this and drag down? Look at the impact. So you see it brings the second person, it brings the third person, it brings the fourth person, the fifth, the sixth, the seventh. Are you getting it? But I don't want us to drag now, so Ctrl Z to undo that. Now we have this. I want us to build the whole thing from the first person up to the end, take home pay. So once we get this, we'll highlight the first person, drag it down, and automatically everything will be calculated for us. So now we are going to the actual business. This is our working days in a month. We established that there are 21 days. If we go to the attendance sheet, we will see it there. Okay, so first thing first, we have already placed the 21 days here, because before you try doing this, you would have taken full attendance. So we already know. So all I'll do is I'll click on this. So all you are telling Excel, this side is supposed to be equal to 21. This is the working days per month. So it's supposed to be this. And because I want it to be constant, I'll press F4. Please observe when I press F4. Currently, look at the function. We start a function in Excel with equals. Now when I did that, it has picked this cell, which is H2. Now when I press F4, observe, you can see that the dollar sign has been introduced on both the H and then the 2. Now what it means is that wherever I drag this, it will still look at this particular cell, and that's basically what we want. So we enter. Okay, so we have our 21. Let me give it a different font for us to understand. So this is the actual days you are supposed to work for this payroll period. Sorry, this is the working days per month in November payroll period. Now the issue is, how many days did Agnes actually come to work in this particular payroll period? So it means that we need to go and mark attendance. And like I'm saying, because this is tutorials, we are just learning how to. Your attendance would have been marked long ago. by your administrator or whoever is in charge and present it to the account, and then you inculcate it in your payroll. But because we are learning to understand, let's go to attendance and then take attendance. After that, we'll come here. From there, we'll come back to our basic salary, and then we'll be building it one after the other. So because we are under attendance, let's go and mark our attendance for November, and then we can continue. Okay, please take note that this is the total working days per month for this particular payroll period. So we are now going to look for the actual working days that Agnes worked, and we can only know that from the attendance record. So before we do, let's go to our case study and quickly look at the attendance. Okay, how many people were present and how many people were not. So let me search for attendance and quickly jump to that place so that we move on fast. So you can see that we have it down here. Thank you. All employees were present throughout the payroll period except the following. So let's see those who were not present throughout. So in our mind, everybody was present except Agnes for November, except Abigail, except Charles, Adams, Flora, Frank, Moses, Amoakon, Gifty, Apia, and Stephen. So when we are marking the register for these people, we will mark them absent here 3, absent here 2, absent here 1, absent here 5. Then every other person will be marked present throughout the payroll period. So these are the people that we know will have to be marked absent and will not enjoy full attendance. So once we have established this, we can easily go to our payroll attendance and mark the attendance for all of them and go back to our payroll and continue. So let's go to our Excel and look for our attendance for November, NA. Okay, very good. So you see it starts from 25th of October and it moves through to 24th of November. These numbers will help us know the column that we are working in. Okay, so let's see. Agnes Tete, we will first of all have to know this first 25th here is Friday. That's where the payroll period is starting. So we will have to check Agnes information. Those who were absent, was Agnes part? If Agnes was not part, then we will mark Agnes present. Okay, so to save time, what I want us to do is we will mark everybody present. Then when we finish, we will look for those who did not have full attendance, and then we will know what to do. Okay, now whilst marking attendance, remember Farida resigned on the 10th. So when you get to Farida, that's why Farida is in yellow, telling you that there's something about her. So when we get to Farida, when we get to on the 9th, that's where her attendance will end. From 10th going, she stopped coming to work. Okay, all right, so let's take note of that. Now, since we have this idea, I'm marking in this register. 1 means present, A means absent, L means you are on leave, H means it's a holiday. Okay, so absent, you can either use A or you can just use 0 to mean the person didn't come. Okay, all right, so we are marking everybody present, so I just put 1 here and I'll give Farida 1 also. This is Saturday and Sunday. They don't work on Saturday and Sunday, so we are not marking anybody. So I'll just drag it down to, this is the local, and then the expert to start from here. So we mark them. Okay, Mind you, I am doing this for everybody. When we finish, we will now look at those who did not have full attendance. Then we will rectify and mark them some absent. Okay, so here I put one, drag it across to Friday, hold it again, drag it down, and I can drag it down further for everybody. Okay, up to here for the local. Then I did it this way just for you to know who is expert, who is local, but you can actually merge the two without having any issues. Okay, so we are basically marking our register thinking that everybody was present. However, we need to take note that this lady resigned at some point, so for her you don't just mark, you need to take into account when she stopped. Okay, all right, so she stopped on the 9th, on the 10th, so Farida's attendance will end at this side. Subsequent attendance, she will be marked absent because she stopped effective 10th. Okay, so kindly take note of that. All right, we end it here. Then we do the same, just put 1 because 1 means present, and then we scroll up to the end, we scroll back down to get attendance. Mind you, the administrator will not be marking attendance like this. Every day administrator will take record of attendance, so before payroll period the attendance is ready. Okay, but because this is for training purpose, that's why we are doing this. Okay, mind you, Farida on the 10th has resigned, so from here to the end Farida will be absent. Okay, I hope you are getting the whole idea. Okay, so we are taking attendance currently for November. Okay, then we drag it down. We do the same for the last week, but you have to remember Farida is no longer with us in this particular week, so don't give her present. We give her a 0. Okay, and then we continue from down here, drag it to the Friday, hold it, and you can just double click and it will move you down. Double click, put your 1 here again for the expert, double click, and it moves down. Very good. So you can see that per what we've done, these are the total attendance that we have. Okay, so now we can go to our case study and look at those who were not present. So we know Abigail had 2 absent. Okay, so let's quickly go and look for Abigail. So Abigail, now this is Abigail. Okay, Abigail is not supposed to get full attendance, but we've given her 21, so we need to mark her 2 days off. So I'll put it here, I'm just coloring it for you to know. Because she's absent, I'm giving her 2 absent here. Very good. The next person that we need to look out for is Charles McCarthy. He was absent for 1 day, so let's quickly look for Charles. Now we have Charles here, 1 day, so let's give this as the absent. Okay, let's continue quickly. So that's basically what you'll be doing. We have Adamte Solomon, 3 days absent, so let's look for Adamte. I think I didn't type the name well, so let me try again. Okay, there's no R here. So this is Adamte Adamte was absent for 3 good days, so we can say the 3 here. I'm keeping it in font yellow just to tell you that they were absent. Okay, you can also say AA or 0, whichever way. Okay, so we move on to Flora Nati. Flora was absent for 5 good days, so let's look for Flora. Flora is right here. For this week, let's say Flora was absent throughout, so I'll give Flora 0 throughout. Let me put 0 there to show absent. Okay, very good. Then we move on to Frank. Frank was absent for just 1 day, so look for Frank. Now, how did we get this search dialog box? You just go to Control F, it will bring the search dialog box. Okay, now you type in the person you want. Frank. Now I've highlighted more than one cell, so I'll not be able to search for anybody. So you click outside. Now click in the search dialog box, enter, and it will bring Frank. Frank was absent for just 1 day, so let's take the first one as Frank's absent day and just enter 0 there. Okay, the next person that was absent in November was Gifty, so let's go and look for Gifty as we've been doing. So Gifty is right here. Okay, Gifty was absent for just 2 days, so I'll take the first 2 days here and mark Gifty absent. So I'll put 0. Okay, so we are making progress. The last person that was absent in November was Appear Richmond. So let's look for Appear. Very good, Appear Richmond. This is Padmon. Let's see if we have Appear. Okay, so this is Appear. Appear was absent for 3 days, so I want something that we can remember. Okay, so this one's okay. So now, so long as November payroll is concerned, okay, this will be the attendance for each of them. Okay, we can now close this and now see. Okay, so we call something freeze. We can freeze this panel so that even when we scroll up, we can still see the information up there. When we scroll right, we can still see the names. Okay, so for you to scroll the header, you can highlight this entire row and go to freeze, and you go to freeze panel. Now when we scroll, you can see that we still have this information, just that it scrolls inside and then we can see this. Okay, or you can just put your cursor, but when we scroll this way, we don't see the names. So what we can do is, let's put our cursor here. Okay, here, then we will rather freeze from that side. So I'll freeze it like this. Now when I scroll up, it goes up. When I scroll, it goes in, but still I can see the name. So now this is what basically I want you to understand. So I can scroll and get the statistics here. Nobody was on leave. There was no record of leave. So if there was any leave, you would have entered L, and so you would have seen the total leave here. This is the total days, total work days. Okay, and based on this, if there is any leave, the leave will be added to this. Okay, to get this, because leave, you are going to be paid. So that the payday days will be this, or the pay days will be this. Now this is in column 41. Okay, so now that we have marked our attendance successfully, please take note. This person is 21, this person is 18, this person is 11, this person is 21. Okay, so all things being equal, we are going to inculcate this attendance register in our payroll. So let's go back to the local payroll. So now we can get our attendance. Okay, so let's see if Excel will be able to help us. So we do another VLOOKUP, but this time around we pick the code here, we bring a comma. Where can we find this attendance? We will find it in the attendance sheet, NA. So after you select this staff ID, where or which sheet can you see this actual days worked? You will find it in the NA, which is the November attendance. Now when you pick it, make sure you pick the first person here, you select up to the end like this, hold down your control key and your shift key, your hand should be on them, and now press the down arrow. Okay, keep pressing till it takes you to the end of the attendance sheet. Now you can see that with this one I have not defined this attendance sheet. So look at what it gives me: NA exclamation B7 to AP 110. Are you getting it? It means it has selected the entire table. Now if it is like this, you need to press F4 to make the table constant. If not, what we are about to use this for, it won't work. So press F4. Observe closely, look at the formula bar. If I press F4, look at what happens. You can see that it brings $. Now that you've done this, you press your comma, and the question you ask yourself is the total attendance that you needed, which table, which column was having that particular information. If you recall, it was 42. So you enter and it brings. Now if the 42 I type is wrong, it will give us this error. So let's go back to our attendance and go and check. You can see that this is 41, but I type 42, so it means it's giving us a wrong information. So just go back to payroll and let's edit this formula. We'll just change it from 42 to 41. So you can see it gives us the 21 days for Agnes. Now let's see if this is correct. Let's drag it to the third person. Okay, now Cletus Abelem, okay, 21, Abigail 19. Let's go to our register and confirm if the information we are getting here is correct. So we have Abigail, we have Abelem. If they are correct, then we are good to go. Now this is, so let's see, this is Agnes, which is 21, correct. This is Abelem 21. This is Abigail 19, which is also correct. So it means that your VLOOKUP is working correctly. Okay, so we are good to go. You can undo. I only need the first person. Once we build everything here, we can just replicate it down like I've been doing, and then we'll get the whole thing. Okay, so I want us to end this section here. The next section we are going to actually use VLOOKUP to look for the basic salary, the living allowances, and then we'll build up to overtime. We will go and do overtime, and then we'll continue. Okay, so thank you once again for your time, and we'll meet again shortly.